to Lucia.
Hello, Caps. I'm Lucy Weird, a content creator from Peru. Having G2 versus C1 has become a classic match at Worlds, and since this year it is happening in Europe, probably the audience was expecting a win from their first seed. So, what are your thoughts about it?
Well, hello. Yeah, I mean, definitely we felt like today we can beat T1, but we weren't able to. We got close in the second game, but we sadly got like caught off guard. They managed to catch us when we were weak, and I'm definitely disappointed. And the crowd was definitely cheering a lot for us, so it feels extra bad to do it in Berlin, but we still have another life, and we will do our best to make it as far as we can in this tournament.
Okay, moving on to the next question from Nguyen. Nguyen, do you want to ask your question? Okay, we'll move on. Gabrielle.
Hi, I'm Gabriel Marcelo from Big Gamer Agency of Esports. This question is, as a team, what do you think caused the loss in the second month against T1?
I mean, there were definitely like a lot of mistakes. I think from my side, I think there were two fights at the end where I didn't manage to get the hourglass off before I got throughout the CC combo. I think they layered well, and that could have been a game changer for sure. I think a big one is when Jax TB'd behind us as well. I think if any of us had like looped around behind us or thought about it, we could definitely have played that situation way better, and it would probably have been a win in the end. But I think there were like so many, small mistakes and some very big ones as well. And I think if we had played better, then we could definitely have taken it. So we will take it as motivation to really play well in the last best of three.
I have a last question. With one chance remaining, how are you feeling mentally after this result?
I mean, right now it definitely feels a bit heartbreaking, right? I think we definitely want to win here, but at the same time, we also know that we have to give it all our last game. This tournament can still just be at the very beginning if we make it so, and we will do everything we can to play well in our last best of three. So we're coming in with a lot of confidence. Definitely a lot of lessons we can take from T1 as well in this set. And we'll see what happens.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the next question. Danem Miao from Eternal.
Hi Caps, I'm Dani Miao from Pop Team Latam. My question is, how do you reflect on your individual performance today, and what would you change and expect for the next series on Worlds?
Hello. I think the individual performance, I definitely wasn't too happy with it. I think they managed to shut me down quite well in the early game. Both games they went for the gank, and especially the second game, I ended up losing quite a lot of health. So I think if I could play that situation better, I definitely would have. And I think in the later parts of the game, I think also I guess in the early parts of the game, I think sometimes we got a bit lost in the turret push. Like they managed to get first turret, and they were pushing a bit faster than us and more accurate. So I could probably have called us to defend more. And then, as I mentioned before, I think the later fights, I think some of them I managed to get one shot. So if I had gotten my hourglass off, or if I had zoned off the Jax when he TP behind us, I think some of these could have been, like this game could have been way better.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One more question using the hand raise feature, and then we'll move on to the chat. So Yahoo Esports, if you can ask your question.
伟成可以问问题。
哦，不好意思，好，那我就是想问说，你们今天只差一步就拿下了第二场的比赛，那当时在击破3比0之后，你心里的感觉是怎么样？ 以及今天你的对手 Faker 拿下了他在世界大赛的第100胜，那会想与 Faker 说什么？那未来自己是不是有机会也能拿下100胜呢？
So, Caps, for today's game number 2, you're just so close to get the victory. So, how do you feel about that game? And also, Faker be able to get 100 wins today in World Championship. So, is there anything you like to share to maybe say to Faker? And also, could you imagine like maybe someday you also got the 100 wins here at World Championship? How would you like to feel?
Yeah, I mean, definitely it feels disappointing that we weren't able to close out the second game, especially, but even the first one as well. If we had played better, we could definitely have taken these games, and it just gives us a lot of motivation. And for me as well, I feel very motivated to do better. We still are at Worlds, and I'm grateful that we get another chance to really learn from our losses and improve. And I mean, I will wish Vega congratulations for his 100th win. He's definitely, a world champion many times, and I of course wish I can and win worlds as well. And getting 100 wins would be a good way of getting there.
那首先，对于我们今天的表现，我还是觉得非常非常的失落的。然后，同时我觉得我们有很多的部分可以做得更好，不光是第二局，其实在第一局的时候也是。然后，我也觉得这些会成为我们的更多的动力，在后面进行的更好。那对于我个人而言，这也会成为激励我不断前行的一些动力。那无论如何，我们现在还是依旧在全球总决赛的舞台当中，我觉得我们还是有非常多的机会去从这些失败当中去学习到更多的内容。同时，我想对 Faker 说的是，毫无疑问，恭喜你能够解锁这样的一个成就，拿到那么多的世界冠军的头衔，获得过那么多场的胜利，我也要以此为进步，去斩获更多的胜利。
好，谢谢。
上一场打韩华，你们后期的运营出现了一些问题，那么这一场其实再次也出现了类似的一些问题，或许 Caps 选手认为其中的原因会是什么呢？So for the last game against Hanwha Esports, maybe you guys made some issues around the late game macro, and maybe for this game against T1, the same thing happened. So what went wrong in the actual game?
Yeah, I mean, both games I think went quite late, and we didn't manage to close it out. Um, I think some of the games were definitely different situations, so like different issues coming up. But we will learn from those, and we will also be vigilant if some new situations happen, and we need to be aware, whether it be TB flanks or how we retake, especially like the dragons, and making sure that we have the side lanes pushed out before objectives. So I think definitely a lot of good lessons, but at the same time, there might be new challenges in our next match, and we just need to be ready for it.
那其实我觉得，确实对于这两场的话，我们都是出现了在后期当中的一些问题，就是没有办法能够非常干净利落的把比赛给结束掉。但是我觉得我们这两场是有不太一样的一些情况，同时也出现了不太一样的一些问题。那这些问题都是我们可以从中去吸取经验，学习到一些新的内容的。然后呢，也让我们在更好的未来面对到一些新的情况的时候，知道如何去应对。比如说面对 TP 绕后的问题，或者说一些回城的时间，包括说可能对于龙的一些处理，然后包括说在拿资源之前的一些边线上的运营、边线上的推进，然后包括说我觉得这些各种各样的方面，对我们来讲都是很好的一些学习的素材，我们也会去进行很好的复盘，然后在未来能够尽可能的准备好面对各种各样的情况。
Okay, next question is from Miguel Menendez, Mendez. What do you think G2 Esports mistakes were in this series?
Well, I mean, there were definitely a lot of mistakes, right? I think there were some longer games, and we could have done a lot of things better. So I think definitely we'll have to go back and watch it to see everything. But I think some key ones are definitely to look out for some of their swaps in the early game. I think they managed to go from having like good bot and top lane state to them swapping out of it, and also with Ari getting like a lot of turrets on side lane, because I think we didn't defend maybe once when we had tempo. So when they had tempo, I mean. So basically, making sure that we have the right lane assignments in the early game was a big thing that like cost us quite a bit in the early game. But I think later on in the game, it's a lot of just like basics, like having clear wards behind us, how we retake our jungle. I think we died sometimes, and making sure that we are on the same page, whether we want to fight or if we want to split up or what we're doing in the map.
Next question before we go to Sons of KS. So this one is from Nguyen. You were so close to victory in game 2 but couldn't close it out. Was it the clutch moment from Ono in the Baron fight, or is there something else you think your team could have done better?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think they did very well, right? They had like the Baron steal, they had the bot fight where I think they TV behind us, and I think many more fights. So a lot of fights just not going our way. And if we had played either of those situations just a little bit better, then I'm sure we could have taken it. So of course it feels bad, but at the same time we just need to learn from it and make sure we come in as strong as we possibly can on Sunday.
Next question to Sons of KS via the hand raise feature.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Russian from Sunset KS. I'm sorry for the loss. How do you feel after facing Faker again, and in what ways do you think this matchup was contribute for your personal learning?
I mean, definitely, I feel good playing against Vega. I think he's, of course, like the best mid laner of all time. I think, and he is someone who will always look for ways out, and especially like these games when we are very far ahead, he can find angles, and his team as well will look for angles. So it's a lot of fun to play against him. It's a shame that we lost, and we will definitely look to do better next time. But it's a very good learning opportunity, and I'm sure we can take them on next time.
Okay, last two questions. Okay, last two questions now. So last two via the chat. Anna, her question is, looking forward to next match. What do you plan to do personally and also as a team to reset and prepare? Where do you draw inspiration?
I mean, I think for us, we will probably just be watching, of course, our games here today. Then we will be making sure to play a lot of games. And whoever we draw, we will try to. I think we get to see it probably Saturday evening. I'm not entirely sure, but it should be Saturday evening. So try to get as many votes of theirs as possible and prepare for what they like to do. And then we'll see how it goes.
And last question from Fomos.
프로게이머 생활을 하면서 계속 페이커와 대결을 하고 있는데 페이커는 본인의 선수 생활에 어떤 존재나 의미라고 생각하시나요? So it seems like in your pro career you continue to play against Faker. So what is Faker to you, perhaps in terms of how he impacted you in the career, or what does Faker's presence mean to you for you as a player?
I mean, definitely, I think I look up to Faker a lot. I think when he won Season 3 Worlds, that was like one of the first pro games I was watching, and I think seeing him win the title definitely gave me a lot of motivation to become better. And I mean, since then, I've tried my best to reach that level, and sadly we couldn't win today, but I definitely want to make it out of groups now and see if we can get our revenge later on in the tournament, because he's a very strong player and it'll be fun to play against him.
페이커 선수 같은 경우에는 제가 항상 올려다보는 약간 존경하는 그런 대상이고요. 시즌 3에서 월즈 우승을 했을 때부터 제가 약간 월즈나 롤 같은 프로 경기를 보고 있었기 때문에 저에게 정말 동기부여를 주는 좋은 존재입니다. 오늘은 슬프게도 이기진 못했지만 저희가 꼭 스위스 스테이지 살아남아서 꼭 복수를 할 수 있는 그런 기회를 만들어서 좀 좋은 경기를 치러 나갔으면 좋겠습니다.
Okay, so that concludes the media scrum with Caps from G2. Thank you very much to Caps for joining us, and thank you to the media as well for joining us as well.
Thank you for the questions.